with that coffee, sis. Make my cup. Jesus.
Look, gang.
But
Okay.
just to let everybody know, we're going live on Facebook. So everything being said from here on out will be live on Facebook until we broadcast live.
Okay. Thank
No
you so
visual,
much.
just
So we don't
audio.
say anything we don't need to
her
say.
stand.
Just audio
And
though, right?
then,
Yeah. No, it's video and audio as well.
Oh, so I do need to get these edges together. Hold on.
Hey, so I like you. I think we'll go at 59.
Great.
Yeah, in Zoom. And then I'll wait until maybe a minute or two.
Great.
Then we'll rock. What time is it right now? It's like 58 or something.
We're at 57. Yeah, about to be 58 up.
All right, cool. Let me do this.
All right. You can try to share this real quick to my Facebook page. What's the page for it, Byron? IC Music?
Yeah, he stepped away, but yes, I see music.
There it is.
how long has it been in Lucky? Have you seen Eric? I don't think you've
I
seen
did.
Eric.
No,
You saw
I've
him?
never, no. I saw Aaron and I have not seen Eric. I think I saw Eric. Was he a baby? I think he was a baby. I think you had him in your arms and we were at your mother's house. This was years
Wow.
ago. Yeah. That's the
That was
last time. It was, but it's like, certain people I see and it's like I can pick up where I left off, And you're definitely one of those people. And I feel like I've seen you because I've seen like Aaron in passing. And
Yeah.
but I miss you. And you're
Miss
just
you too.
it's hard living in New York when my roots are in Chicago because the people that I love are back home,
Yeah. How do you deal with being homesick?
Well, alcohol. No, I'm kidding.
What
No.
a question. Yes.
No. No, I call my grandma and my mom and I talk to them as much as possible. And that helps. And then my best friend Keisha.
Hey, I like you.
Yeah,
Can you make Phyllis the host?
sure.
Back to work. Okay. Got it now.
Got it.
Okay. Started a watch party on my other page, so trying to see.
That's what I'm trying to do too.
Y'all
Start a
so
watch
technologically
party.
savvy. I don't know what I'm
No.
doing.
No. Okay. I can see there's a little delay on my
Oops.
watch party page. Okay.
Let's try it again.
Great. So, Byron,
I have been summoned. I know. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
hello.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So we in the game.
Okay, we can see you now.
Okay. Cool. Hey, maybe somebody got a TV or something on. So are we? So everything is live. I like you. Well, you muted.
I'm so sorry, Byron. I was taking a quick call, and yes, I'm here. All right, thank you.
Oh, okay. No, that's okay.
Bye.
So you good? You the host? Everything good?
Yes, I'm the host. Everything is good. Yep.
Nice.
I still see practice mode only
Yeah,
for the
I just
broadcast.
I'm about to broadcast live.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you can go
And
ahead.
we are calibrating and we are live. So everything is starting now.
Okay.
Awesome.
Hey, look, Likey. So if you see Chase, Lauren Chase, in there, bring her into the panel.
Will do. I got it. Roger that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
And Chase, you could just message Likey, which is the host right now. So. All right. Cool. All right, well, let's go ahead and do this thing. Like.
Byron.
Man. Ooh. This is gonna be a good one, and I don't even know which one this is. I feel like it's 362.
It is. It might as well be, but this is special. This is special.
I know, cause like this is your nerd out kind of type thing.
It is.
And that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? So yes. Thank you. Welcome to IC Music, where we train the totally blind and visually impaired in audio production and studio engineering as it pertains to adaptive technology. This webinar today is hosted by Shure Microphone. Yo, we had them on last week. Ooh.
Yes.
That was powerful. Thank you to Mr. Michael Pedersen and from RMS Audio Works. Thanks to Mr. Robert Sestili, the maker of the fine tube mics. Learned a lot about Shure last week, did we not, Aliki? Did you learn anything? You don't have to go on mute yet.
I learned quite a bit. I didn't understand what WACA was, the White House Communications
White House
Board.
Communications Agency.
Yes, that works directly with Shure microphones. I didn't know that they were an Illinois-based company.
Yes.
I knew I owned Shure. That's the live microphone of choice I use when I'm not recording. But the fact that they're socially conscious, that all of their proceeds go to charity, and it's employee trusted
Trust.
and ran.
Yes.
And they keep all of their employees. Like this man is been there 44 years, so he's been there his whole career. So socially conscious, a woman is the head of it, and they were socially conscious before it was a thing. Cool. They just were. Yeah.
Before hashtag was there, right?
Yep.
For sure. So yeah, thank you to Shure for providing the internal workings for microphones as it pertains to our learners in our in the IC Music MPEP program, the face-to-face training. Another one of our sponsors, Avid, the makers of Pro Tools, the world's leading accessible DAW out there for any blind person looking to jump into audio recording, editing, the whole kind of nine, creating. It don't matter. This DAW is completely accessible out the box. Man, ready to go. Also, another one of our sponsors, the world leaders as it pertains to retail, audio technology. Sweetwater, man, yep, Sweetwater helping the blind folks. Tech support, you need some assistance. You need somebody to log in remote and get some stuff loaded on with some of these product manufacturers that don't have accessible websites and accounts for you to actually push some buttons. So yeah, I'm putting a little hint, a little foot in the thing there. Also, as well, let me see what else we got. It's this cord that keeps jumping on me. I feel like there's somebody in here jumping on me, but that's a whole nother.
Might be Eric.
It might be very, very possible. Let me see. So yeah, we got Shure, we got Avid, we got Sweetwater. And nonetheless, last but not least, most definitely not least, Native Instruments. Man, the world's leading pro sounds. Any type of production that's happening. These are the makers of Complete Control, which is accessible out the box. Once again, you touch the controller, it speaks, it lets you know, it updates you, it makes you aware of parameter changes and all that kind of great stuff, as well as the machine, which is the drum machine, a software version of something almost like an MPC, if you will. Almost, not really, but almost. In any event, thank you to all our supporters out there as well. The San Francisco Lighthouse, a bunch of different affiliates. I'm not even going to run down that list. I'm going to jump into this real quick, this webinar today. I'm very excited about today's webinar, along with Likey, simply because I've worked with every single one of these ladies in some capacity for them. Recording, live, writing, creating, just a myriad of things. And one thing that is I think is very important is that independent artists run the world, really, honestly, truly. And what's magnificent about that is that these four ladies are going to enlighten us on, what that world looks like. You talking about budgets, you talking about tours, you're talking about recordings. The whole nine, and just dealing with that as moms, as women who probably have another form of revenue, like income, like a job, and then trying to balance that world against the creative desires. So, without further ado, I want to welcome our panel, consisting of Miss Cherise Scott, all the way from Memphis, Tennessee. Also on this panel today, all the way from the Calumet City, right outside of Chicago. Y'all already know what it is. Miss Soul Artist of the Century, Tiabe. That's my poor attempt to a siren. Sorry, that sound like a drunk cop, doesn't it? Oh, man.
Crazy, man. My
little sister. I call this girl my little sister. I snatched her up as my little sister probably, 8 years ago. 6 years ago probably. And she has been doing a lot of soul recording, but we have since then jumped down a little bit more aggressive route into the rock and roll side of things. Miss Lauren Chase from Rebel Wild, ladies and gentlemen. I'm doing good with these intros. Huh? I'm bad.
You are.
I like that dog in the back.
Byron,
yeah.
I hate to interrupt, but you said Lauren Chase, so Lauren is Chase's first name.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
I'm only asking so I can include her on the panel.
For sure.
Because I do see. All right, got it.
Yep. And then also, last but not least, Songbird. Y'all done singing all over the place. I ain't even got to mention anything. You'll check it out. You'll see what it's about. One of my besties. Man, I don't even know what to say about this lady. Opal Staples. That's all I'm gonna say.
I love you back.
Oh my God! Thank you, ladies, for obliging me on this this humble ride of knowledge today. I obviously I respect and love all four of you in a mighty way. I think that one of the things that is I think it gets twisted in today's or misunderstood how much work goes into doing what you do, right? Like as independent artists. But we got to talk about an industry that is not so independent artist friendly, right? Like it's just not. If it's something we're measuring for success, that's usually more based in a corporate sense, and I'm not a fan of that because obviously the lion's share of the industry is independent, right? So I'm curious to know. Well, first, before we jump down that, let me get a little bit of background. Let's start with is Chase on with us? Did she make it on the panel?
I'm here.
Okay, cool. Well, I know you in transit, so I might wait to ask you some questions, but nonetheless, I just wanted to make sure. Sharice, please let me know a little bit of how did you even get. What's your background in this? Let's go there first.
Well, first of all, I'm really excited to be on with you all today. Stick,
Yeah,
my
oh.
guy. Y'all know him as Byron. We know him as Sticko. And then, of course, we got to cut that off, and I just call him Stick. Okay, because when you in that engineer booth with that joker, put a stick on you if you don't get it right.
A white one with some red tape on
Understand?
the bottom.
But I've been singing since I was 3, and I'm a Detroit native, and it's in my blood, definitely. But just having an opportunity when I lived in Chicago to be a part of an incredible music scene, poetry scene that really kind of fed this kind of machine that I would say that really laid the foundation for so much of my artistry. But I can't leave out my Memphis roots when we moved down here and having an opportunity to go to a performing arts high school, being classically trained, very fundamental, important pieces of the work to understand, music theory, sight reading, all of those types of things. That's definitely helped to lay a foundation for me. And then going to college in Tennessee, doing vocal performance. Once upon a time, a girl thought she was going to sing opera, and I had to flip the switch and decided that wasn't necessarily my path. But I definitely wanted to bring that discipline, because it's a discipline to sing classical music, into whatever I was going to do. And for me, was soul music, and jazz, right? So my music is a really interesting fusion of all of the things that are near and dear to me: soul, jazz, opera, all of those things mixed in. A little gospel for sure, because that's my foundation as well. And so in 2003, after I had my son, I was like, what am I going to leave this child? I need some type of a legacy. And being in Chicago and being on that scene, a scene that I miss so dearly, being down here in Memphis, but I'm really excited to continue to be in space where such historical music has been made.
Absolutely.
And
Memphis,
so much,
right? Yeah.
you know what I mean? Down here, I'm Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama, my dad's from Alabama, was born there. My grandparents from Mississippi and Tennessee, so it's in me for sure. And so being here and being a part of now the Memphis music scene, which is fly. I don't get a chance to do it so much because, like you said earlier, for some of us, we really having to still work a whole job. And try to do this music. But in 2003, I released my first album, Moans, which was really, trying to do something, right? To leave my baby, to say, your mama did something amazing.
Right.
And then in 2008, had a chance to record again and release my second album, Soul Journey. And, but this path has been nothing short of hard as hell, It's been rough. It's been hard. I know exactly what it's like to not have the budget, but you went ahead and created the gig, and you hope. Hold
up, because we gonna ride down that road.
Okay, cool. I'll wait.
Gonna be cobblestone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No doubt. Tiabe, background. How this thing get started for you? Like, what's going on with that?
The common theme starting in church, starting when I was a little girl, somewhere between 4 and 5, I believe. The story my mom tells me. Just singing in high school, singing in gospel choir, singing in workshop ensembles, doing that, singing in high school and college, the chorales and all of that. Just from there, navigating, doing the job in bands, and then I got with the Soul People, and we were doing a weekly open mic. Did that for like 5 years. From there, went to Funky Buddha. You know,
R.I.P.
rest in
Terrence,
peace.
Big T,
Right,
Big
rest in
T,
peace.
my dude.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
From there, just
I think that's how I met you. It's through
yeah,
Terrence.
through Terrence.
Oh man, okay,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely,
absolutely through Terrence.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So from there, just
So,
evolved.
so, Lauren Chase. I don't know. I'm gonna call you Chase. I'm gonna just go with Chase because I think I have a right to do that.
But I'm like, who is Lauren?
I know, right?
That's
I know.
my government name.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's the name your mama say. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it. When they taking them taxes, that's what they taking them from.
Right.
So your background.
So singing started for me at between the ages of 2 and 3 because that's how my mother taught me how to spell my name. And so it was a great memory device that was used. From there, I started singing more in elementary school, and then in high school, I was Miss Illinois for Hal Jackson's Talented Teens, where the national competition took place in New York. Additionally, I won at Showtime at the Apollo in high school. And from there, my journey took me on to college at Jackson State University, where I received a partial scholarship for a cappella choir. Now, unlike Miss Sharice, I did not know how to sight read music, and so I would pick up on the on how to sing the songs very quickly, and therefore they didn't know that I couldn't sight read until I was caught up one day, and they found out that I couldn't read, but I made it through. So that's what counts. You gotta fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah.
And so from there,
I
started.
go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, so
No.
there,
I was gonna say that there's a lag there. So I know you got a lag going. Like it's probably about a good 5 seconds.
Oh, really?
No, I was gonna say I remember when you would background singing. That how grabbing the part so quick. Especially singing behind T.I. band and y'all singing together. It's like the parts is, it's crazy how y'all remember, what's going on as far as the intricacies and notes and all that kind of good stuff,
The one thing I will say is I learned the melody. And so even if I don't know your lyrics, I will definitely know the melody and make it seem like I know the lyrics.
Exactly.
But yeah, from there, I started singing hooks for rappers. And that's kind of how I got on the scene. I was like the rap chick that sang the background and the hooks. And I went from, like Byron, like you said earlier, I went from singing R&B music to singing pop music. And now I'm a full-blown, what we call it, punk rocker.
Yeah. I would put it down that lane. I'll throw it down there. Yeah, for sure. That's a 7-10 split too. That's right up the middle. For sure. So Opal, background.
Well,
Please
I
and
think no worries, I got you. I, unlike these divas and these beautiful queens, I'm a late bloomer, always have been. I think Sharice probably can attest to this better than anybody. I started singing at 16. I am the daughter of ministers, so of course, church has always been a great part of where I learned the sound of music. All of my siblings sing and are very proficient in singing and singing together. I wasn't allowed to sing with them because I couldn't sing.
What?
Yeah, I couldn't sing. What? And I think I got introduced to the concept of really performance because later on I started singing with my siblings a little bit. You know, they let me sing the soprano, which come to find out I'm really not a soprano, which once again, Sharice was a big influence on telling me, you know, you ain't really a soprano, sister, but I'm gonna let you float with it. You know, you will hear in my storyline, Sharice has been a great influence on my artistry, which is really key to being a good artist, is putting people around you and not being afraid to be around people who are more talented and just as gifted as you are without feeling insecure, but rather adapting from them. But anyway, I started doing commercials for radio and television at a very young age. I was blessed and very fortunate to start working with Jeff Morrow, and I started doing commercials for radio and television. And it just opened up a world for me. I went in high school. I did begin singing because I started working with Jackie Taylor at the Black Ensemble Theater.
Okay.
And you know, I remember meeting her, and she told me, she said, "Well, you can't act worth a damn, but you can sing." and from there, a lot of doors just began to open for me. And you know, from there, commercials, singing background, going on tour, and then finally, really later on, developing into an artist that has a message from my own soul, from my own heart. It took a minute, and I'm grateful for the lag, as you say, in development, because I think sometimes artists are quick to start screaming out what they feeling, but you haven't really given it thought. You ain't been through nothing, and you haven't experienced anything to make your message relevant. One of the first independent artist albums I heard was Chester Gregory, and then it was Sharice, I Was There for Moans, and I was in awe, and it gave me a pathway to trail. You know, I was definitely a trailblazer, where people like Sharice for me were pathfinders. But it gave me a space to blaze trails, to figure out, you know, what my sound is, what is my story. And so now, you know, I do not have a job, quote unquote. Singing is my life. It's all I do. It's all I have, and it works for me. But that's my story. You know, I've been blessed to sing on television, on radio. I've been blessed to learn what residual income means. Hallelujah. But I just, you know, that's my story. That's my background in this industry that we call music.
Sure. Sure thing. Hey, so Sharice, because
I had no idea I impacted Opal in that way. That's just really dope. I feel very blessed to hear that. But go ahead.
I know, and she kind of put my rail a little bit off, you know, a little bit off in another direction, you know, but in a very good way, right? Because, so Sharice, I mean, obvious. How long? I don't want you to tell your age, but how long have you been singing? Like, as far as booking gigs and being able to be out in front of the public side on your own?
About 20 years, definitely 20 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
About 20 years,
because
right?
I mean,
so
you know, I feel like it really
reason
popped in Chicago. So I turned 25 that summer.
Absolutely.
And I, just like Opal, I was doing Black Ensemble Theater and musicals. And, you know, when people start seeing you, people start booking you. So, yeah.
So you, as a 25-year-old woman, right?
Yep.
Young woman, jumping in the game. Obviously, like on the corporate side of things, like, you know, sex sells, right? Like, let's just keep it real. However, a lot more flexibility on the independent side. Your content, your songwriting, your ability to pay attention to your notes, your ability to want to be great on a recording, and you're saying that you want to be great, not that someone else says that or anything like that. To me, that's paramount. Let me ask you, as a 25-year-old woman jumping in a thing, what was the scariest part about getting up in front of people with your original compositions? Like, what was the most intense thing about that?
I think I still have the same fear that nobody will like it. Nobody will like what comes from my heart, what comes from my soul, the music that's important to me. I mean, I never ever thought I was a radio artist. I know I'm not a radio artist. You know, I used to have a hard time getting played in Chicago. Meanwhile, I was being played on the radio in Atlanta. but it's Atlanta. Atlanta,
Right.
is gonna
Right.
gonna do that, right? And
Right.
so they support in that way. And then overseas as well, definitely got a lot of radio play, a lot of DJ play overseas. But I think more than anything, one of the hardest things has been, I wasn't the kind of cookie cutter girl either, that was an artist at the time. When I turned 25 was the same year Jill Scott came out with, volume 1. We're 20 years in, boo, and but like the world was open, and it was so dope to see a sister who wasn't skinny, who was fine and fabulous and full figured and doing her thing, and I could identify with her. And then we shared the same last name, and I was like, right, a Scott got on, I'm gonna get on too,
Right.
So you know what I mean. And so I was,
Right,
so
right.
it was just dope to to be in that space. But it's always been terrifying, that people may not like the music. I think that's been one of the biggest hindrances for the kind of pause around trying to really get this third album done. I'm like, are they gonna like this? Like, I don't know if they're gonna like it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not the radio at all. I'm a storyteller. I'm gonna give you, my process is very A B C A, vamping it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you a story. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you a hook. I'm gonna give you a bridge. Yeah.
Let me ask this: how in the hell do you stomach the, that as a young woman, like, because you mentioned Jill Scott and being full figured, how is that even like? How do you manage that, like, internally? Like, how does that? Because I know it works on the psyche, it works on the spirit. It has to, when people are judging, right? And I mean, hey, you're artists, right? So you're up for judgment. I mean, clearly. I mean, you step on stage. I think when Erykah Badu was like, you don't judge me. I'm sensitive
artist.
about my ish, right?
You.
And so I get that part, but obviously you're there. Tomatoes are going to be flying, or roses are going to be coming. It's an either or thing, right? And so how the hell do you stomach that
I mean,
place?
I still love me, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, I don't really give a damn. I'm not that. I'm this. And the cool thing about being an independent artist versus having, the industry and the pressure of the industry, Chicago was an amazing space for me to create and be whoever the hell I was. Right? It was less about my, what size I was. It was more about, how much I knew about my history as a Black person. It was more about, my presentation of a perm versus these locks. It was different. It was a different energy. Yes. And, and the reception of Chicago, being able to create in poetry space, doing your thing while you looking at poets, writing down, because you inspiring as you sing, you're inspiring up like that. I would definitely say Chicago is one of the best places in the world to create and to cultivate who you are and to figure it out. And everybody was generous because we were always trying to get on. Let's be clear. I wasn't the only one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody was trying to get on. And everybody was just doing it in their own way. Everybody had their own sound. Mine just happened to be an evolution of poetry to music while I was trying to find my voice. I think something that Oprah lifted up. I was like, what's my sound? What am I doing? Yeah. And I was able to find my voice. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a fair question too, right? What is your sound? Like, what is that?
Now I would say very confidently, I'm soul jazz fusion. That's me. I'm a scat. I'm gonna give you some Ella. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get a little Mahalia Jackson at the bottom of that John. I'm a Leontine Price your ass, and and even more kind of current. I'm a Layla Hathaway you. I'm a Kim Burrell you a little bit, but I sounded like that before I even knew who Kim Burrell was. So I was just like, oh, okay. So it was like, oh, somebody else is doing like jazz with it. Okay, that's fly.
For sure. So Tiabe, same question to you as far as how do you face that criticism, and knowing that, okay, I'm an independent artist, people may be, and I'm gonna just throw a scenario out there. You're performing at a venue, band's tight, you feeling good, everything's going well, but there's people sitting around talking, like not paying attention. And this is a featured performance. It's not like, like a little trio or a piano bar guy or something like that. This is a featured situation. Like, how does that work on you as a person? And how do you manage it? Like I think that's my even bigger question. How do you manage that?
I think any person being in the music industry, regardless of what space, you have to have a strong sense of self. And regardless of what happens on the stage, whatever your stage is, that when you leave, you're still intact. But in that specific scenario, one or two things are going to happen. I'm going to focus on the people who are paying attention to me, or for those two or three, I'm going to walk up over to your space and like, hey, what you doing?
Oh, that's that West Side. That's the West Side right there.
Come on, come on in the room with me. Come on in the room with me. Come and join us. We having fun over here too. Come on in. So one of those two things are going to happen. Either they're going to put the phone down, quiet, or they'll leave. But either way, but most times I'm going to focus on the people who are paying attention. But every once in a while, you got to make an example of some folks not paying attention to you. So it just depends on my mood.
Yeah.
It depends on
my mood. So let me ask you. So you said you got to have a strong sense of self.
Absolutely.
In that space. Okay, so strong sense of self. So like because I know a lot of I know the thick skin theory is one of a lot of corporate. I keep calling them corporate, but I'm on it's like signed major label artists. Like you see them having real issues coping with the record bombed. You know what I mean? Because 2 million people streamed it and not 100 million people.
And that's a gold mine for independent artists. I just want you to know.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. Like, so how would you? But how do you how do you? For sure, but how do you manage it? Like, how do you go when you go back home? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. For the independent artists, you have to be sure that you have to understand that everybody's not going to dig your sound, or it just may not be the right time for your sound. And you got to you still have to keep pushing. Somebody's going to get it. Somebody's going to hear it and like it. If you love it and you're committed to it, keep pushing. I'm sure most of the ladies can attest. You have those moments where it wakes you up out your sleep. You drive in the car, you got to stop and do the little voice note to yourself. You in meetings and you jotting down lyrics. I mean, if it's compelling you, somebody else is going to feel that on the receiving end when they listen to it. And you have to believe enough to keep going when that door closes.
That's a good point.
When when that person doesn't get in, so well, you know what, I'm going to find somebody who does. And you just have to be persistent. You have to have that in your mind and your spirit that, hey, I'm gonna still keep going.
So Opal, so when you sticking to that point of you feel it's moving you, and then now that you have to translate that. But when it misses the mark, how are you managing? Like, how does that look for Opal Staples when she gets back and it could have been, I mean, you probably wore it out that night, but people are like, blah, how do you stomach that?
Well, I can tell you this, how I stomach it now as opposed to how I used to stomach it is two vastly different things. It used to affect me terribly, but it had more than anything, it had to do with the audience, it had to do with me. I think that what I've discovered along my journey is, what are you doing this for? Why are you doing this? If you're doing it strictly for the accolade, for the acknowledgement, for popularity, then you're going to be in a world of trouble. There's a beautiful scripture that I love that says, "He that hath an ear, let him hear." Everyone doesn't have an ear for your sound. Yeah. And so what I learned to do is much like what Ms. Tiabe said, which is hone in on the people that are absorbing what you are giving. If you are pouring out and this one plant is absorbing it and growing it, then why would you kill your energy on the plant that is resisting it? And so after being abased emotionally, and my self-esteem just dropped, through the floor. Once again, this is something that Sharice used to be like, you don't see who you are. You don't recognize what you have. You don't see you because you're too busy asking what other people see. Stop that and look in the mirror and identify yourself. So I think what I've learned to do is come to terms with who I am, what I have to offer, and why it is I'm giving this offering. And so now when there are those who don't receive what I have to say, I don't even take it personally. I understand, although I do have tactics. Like Ms. Tiabe said, when I'm in the room and I come in and it's singing, although I will be honest, I begin performing before I walk through the door. So that when I walk into the door, I arrest the environment with my energy, with my spirit. And most of the time when I walk through the door, people turn around and say, "Who's that?" Before I ever sing, "Who is she?" Because I intentionally begin my performance before I ever utter a word. It is about energy. Music is about energy. It's a very spiritual thing. I always say music is the last magic. So before I ever step into the room, I begin my performance so that by the time I sing, if in fact the room is not yet emollient enough for my gift, I water the room with tactics like singing very, very softly. I will sing so low that either you gonna stop talking just because you like it. What's she doing? Why she up there whispering? Yeah. And then you're gonna be like, "Yeah, girl," and then what? Yeah. Now I'm gonna start singing loud. There are things you can do as an entertainer to grab the attention, but I no longer am concerned about those who care not. I am concerned about those who do care. Those who are interested. And that's where I devote my time and attention, because there will always be debtors among us. There will always be those who don't want it or don't know what to do with that, or that's not their taste. It doesn't even have to be a negative thing. I've just learned to appreciate even their taste. They don't want that. And I inquire, what do you like? I like this. And the next time I go write, I try to remember that taste bud too, so that when I finish cooking this recipe, everybody can eat it. It's a universal song that everybody can take in. But no longer do I find the personal offense in it, or, man, what am I not doing? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
So you sound like a business. I mean, because like literally a business would market to its base, to its demo. And so you're quickly, if we're looking at these as like micro demographics, if we're talking about 100 people that is viewing the performance and 75 of them are paying attention, that becomes your demographic. So what you're saying, pretty much.
But you do not,
what Tiabe said.
Absolutely. But you do not alienate the 25. What you do is you focus your energy on the 75. You take a note on the 25. And when you go back to create, you remember what that demographic of 25, you remember what it is that did pull them in. The artists that came up before you or after you, well, they were juking, and that's more of what they like. So now you take what you give and you add a little bit of what you didn't.
That's powerful.
And this time you expand. So now instead of 75, you've reached 87. You feel me? And you just morph, but it also helps you develop. This is why, forgive the church girl in me. I'm a church girl, but great peace have they that love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. Don't even be offended. Understand those who do not resonate and figure out what their vibration is and adapt that vibration so that there is no frequency between what you give and what you render that you miss. And that way you don't walk away.
Say that last part again. Can you say that last part again? I think
I don't even know what I said. I just said
one line ago. One sentence ago.
You just take what they like, that vibration, that frequency that moved them. You take that and you add it to your frequency so that you depend between what you deliver and what is expected or demanded or desired. You don't miss a beat. because now you've taken and you develop your craft that way too. You know, I remember hearing Sharice. Oh my God, Sharice did this song called "Hopeless,"
Ooh.
and she was singing this. That's one of my and Pretty Girls. Pretty Girls is I'm stuck in between those two, but she did "Hopeless," and it was like hopeless. I'm hopeless.
Yes.
And I was like, well, okay, wait. Everybody was like, when she was singing, and I was like, can I get a up in here? When I sing, it's just like, okay, oh, she got a pretty voice. But Sharice was getting, my God. I mean, she was taking them to church on Hopeless, on a love song, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, well, wait, what am I? But it diminished me. At that time, I was going through being diminished because I wasn't getting the response, and I was comparing, and it was killing me. But as I developed, what I learned was was the honesty of her experience that she sung through. So instead of me saying, oh, how do I, why can't I, they not responding to me like that? I took what that percentage of people that was not giving me the response I want, I took what did move them. And you know what moved them? Honesty.
What?
So then when I sung I Need You, because it came from my honest place.
Ooh.
When I sung that, people was like, my God. I was like, that's what they did to Sharice. It was in the honest, say that. I was like, well, this is it.
Right.
But what I utilized was not what made me feel less, but I took what could make me greater. I just learned from it and I adapted it so that it made me expand instead of diminish. And so that's how I deal with music even now in audiences. That's how I deal with them now.
You know, I'm gonna tell you something. You know, these solutions, and you know, I mean, these questions are very intentional that I'm asking. You know, we got a lot going on, especially in the community for the sisters. I'm not excluding the brothers. Obviously, I'm one of them. But you know, I think we take these things and by component, right? And then we could peel it apart a little bit easier, more like in an onion fashion, and get layer to layer and figure out what's going on with folks. You know, I know there's a lot of depression, and you know, a lot of things, and a lot of it is geared, I think, based on. And Chase, you and I in the band, you know, we had a talk about this. About the wrong barometer being used, you know, in the sense that, you know, you're trying to measure your success as an independent artist to someone else, which is, you know, highly unfair to self, number one. Number two, also very unfair to those who support you, I think, at the same time too as well. So Chase, I'm curious to know how you manage that, because you know, I'm not gonna say the music is your music, your original stuff is um, off the beaten path, but it is, you know, to a degree, and so I know that's got to be a difficult place standing up and going in and not doing covers. You know, you're on a lot of sets with bands that do covers, and so the crowd is they're already playing songs. That band is playing a song that's been vetted out, right? Already, it's a proven hit, and then the band comes in and plays that proven hit, and then, you know, they're accepted by the crowd. But what I've seen happen in your case is that your original material is moving the crowd. But when it doesn't, how does that make you feel, and how you managing that?
Like the other ladies mentioned, music is very spiritual. It's also very impactful and evasive. And I focus on evasive because the spirit lies within you first. So people need to see how much you believe in your own sound and how much you believe in your own music and how much fun you're having in order to really jump on the bandwagon. Because there have been times, and Byron, you've been there with me, where when we open up a set, people are looking at us like we're crazy.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's because
by
we
the
are. Yeah.
we are
Rightfully
crazy.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the band is called Rebel Wild for a reason,
Right.
right?
Right.
But by the second and third songs, they're off of their feet. But just to see how energy is transferred from us to them. So it doesn't matter. There have been so many people, I call them converters, because we did a competition and most of the artists were doing rap and R&B, and they were like off the chain. And once again, this was a situation where we got up there and we just completely let our hair down and got naked in front of the crowd, because I think when you know your niche and when you've established that sound for yourself, there's nothing that can make you uncomfortable. And so by the time we finished, people were on their feet. But in addition to that, we were called the trendsetters of urban rock. So I think that I've been there before where I've sung songs or I've hopped into genres or in and out of genres that did not spiritually speak to me. And so I noticed that it showed up in shows or live performances because I didn't feel 100% confident. It didn't speak to me. So therefore, it did not speak to the audience that I was
Interesting.
naked in front of. And so now I actually found that sound that really speaks to me. And so at this point, when I walk out on stage, I really, I can't get lost in the blank stares in the beginning, because I have it in the back of my mind that by the time we finish either the first song or we finish the very last song, they're going to go somewhere. They're going to go somewhere. Yeah.
For sure. So Opal, let me ask you this. So you're booking gigs, you're recording, and you're doing all this admin stuff. How in the hell do you do all of that? Like, and sing? That to me is insane. I mean, or do you have a staff of 20? I don't know.
I am certifiably insane.
Okay,
And that is the only
makes
way that it
sense.
works.
Yeah.
My character is split, my personality rather is split, because I'm also a mother. And so, most artists, I have a very forgiving spirit with artists, because especially with mothers and women in particular, probably because I am a woman, but I'm very forgiving in the moodiness, in the frustration, and the, okay, could you just figure it out? Like, okay, go get your kids and calm down.
Yeah.
And then we'll just come back around to this tomorrow, because it's so much on your shoulder. And especially as an independent artist, because you don't have a label to just go to and ask them, can you handle this? And there's so much.
Yeah.
You got to do your social media. When you go to do a gig, you land a big gig, you got to get that contract together. You got to answer on time. You got to answer the phone. You got to get the music selection together. You got to get the band together. You better have your COI, excuse me, so that when you get to the building, they can see your insurance. It's so much. And if you're really, even if you have, like I have somebody who supports me, my good friend Keisha, she will get my stuff together and this and that, but there's still an abundance that weighs on your shoulder. And so you find that you're wearing multiple hats at any given moment. And right when you're in the middle of doing a contract, your kids are like, Mom, are you gonna make lunch? And you're like, ain't you 13? Make your own lunch. What's happening? It's a lot. It's a lot. And so what I've learned is to be easy on myself. To be light on myself, and to take moments for me to just go somewhere and sit down and stare at the wall. Like even while I'm sitting here listening, I'm telling myself, just be here in the moment. Don't think about what you have to do later on. Don't think about your gig tomorrow. Just relax. It'll be fine, because it always works out.
Wow.
But it's a lot to juggle. But ultimately, I'm learning every day. I'm learning this, Sticko, and this is the truth. Yeah. It always works out, and we know all things work together. It always works out. But I think you have to take the typical pressure off of yourself. You still have to be responsible,
Yeah.
but you just juggle, and when you drop a ball, you just pick that sucker back up and add it to the circle of balls you're juggling.
Sharice Scott, so your admin side, how are you managing that? Like, how does that look for you?
For the record, before she answers, Sharice is the exception.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm gonna tell you.
She's been doing this for years, Thicko.
But it's always been crazy,
know.
though. It's I think one of the things that was always the thing, right? When you are, you're a promoter, the singer, when folks who especially my musician friends in Chicago, they was like, Sharice gonna James Brown it. You know what I'm saying? She gonna get the music. She gonna be the MD. She gonna direct the band. Because and maybe that's my control issues. That's right. But that thing is tiring, right? And then the phone start popping off the 3 hours leading up to the gig when you need to not be talking. Everybody want to text where the gig at, how much it costs to get in, where's this,
right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the worst. But the admin piece, and my thing was the raggedy flyers I used to put out, ooh, Lord. When you be trying
we'll send a link to some of those in the follow-up.
I was like, oh my God, and so then by the time I moved into like my organizational work, and I was still trying to do the same little raggedy flyers, people be like, sis, you got a whole organization, I need some flyers. You ain't got no communications budget, and it is what it is, but that admin piece is crazy. I mean, I was lucky to have support. My girl Kim Foster in Chicago used to be my person. Because for me, it was also like navigating the gig itself, and people wanting to hug, and people want to come and talk to you. They don't understand, like, this is your instrument. Your voice is your instrument. And if you spent an hour laughing and giggling and cackling and talking and all that kind of stuff before you got to do a 2-hour gig, you just killed some of your gig.
Yeah.
So I would be like, I just need somebody to get my tea together. I need somebody to just like tell people to just give me a second.
So you delegating then.
I had to delegate, or I wasn't gonna have any voice. You know what I'm saying? So, that was the whole thing, trying to
That's what I'm saying.
Give the folks what they paid for. Because I felt like, as far as I was concerned, it wasn't about whether or not we were independent artists. It was the fact that people paid their hard-earned money to come and see us. I don't give a hell if it was $10 or $100.
Right.
You paid to get in to see Sharice Scott. And I want to make sure that you get the show that you that you paid for, or I'm doing a free show. I don't care. What I'm saying, we still got to rehearse.
Yep.
It's still important for the sound to be tight. It's still on point for the background singers to do right. It's so much to that. For an independent artist, but by that same token, at the end of it, it's what you created, and that's the part I think that was the like warm and fuzzies for me. Whatever came out was something that
it was
created
on you.
And
that felt straight from you.
Really, that was just as important to me as the music I chose to sing, whether it be my own or something that I covered.
Mm-hmm. So, same question to Tiabe. Well, administratively, like, how are you handling? Because I mean, you gig a lot, and what does that booking look like? How do you translate? Like, okay, I'm Tiabe, the business lady. I'm the manager. I gotta find the band. Okay. After I find the band, then we gotta find an engineer. Then okay. What time are we gonna be there? So you got all these different things, and now it's time to get to the venue and translate, or transform, I should say, into the performer, right?
I got San Antonio. I got Austin. It's whoo. I guess it helps. It helped me that I'm kind of organized. But over the years, because of the relationships that I've established with different venues, with different promoters, with different musicians, the calls have been coming in a lot more. I honestly need an assistant. So I have a system of just writing stuff down, because if I don't write it down, I don't remember. If I don't put it in my calendar, I don't remember. I recently signed and got a manager, because I haven't had a manager in like 10 years. And it's always a juggling act when you're a mom, when you have a full-time job or business, when you are almost a full-time artist with the flow of shows and things like that. It's always a juggling act. And I'm sure the people around me would say I'm crazy some days, like, there she goes. Yeah. It's her. As far as preparing, preparing for a show, usually like an hour before I leave my house, I don't talk. I don't interact too much. Whatever the commute is from my house to the establishment, I do this silent meditation where I don't have the music on. I'm not on the phone. And that helps me to focus to the silence, because people are talking to me all day long because of what I do. I got kids and they always talking, so it's always noise. So for me, the silence helps me focus, so that when I arrive, I know, okay, I gotta shake hands and kiss babies when I get here. You know, hey, I gotta check in with my band, make sure my band is together, and then a few minutes before, if I'm able to, I'll go in the corner like, okay, just give me a few minutes. I gotta, get in my space. Oh, go ahead, girl. Go ahead. So for me, just being organized and silence helps me.
So, Chase, as it pertains to admin stuff, like that balancing that, how you tightroping that.
The universe is keeping me together because for a while I was actually in school full-time, working full-time, and working with a band. I don't know how it happened.
So school, and you was working and you was babysitting, you saying?
You already know. Yes. I was doing all of the above. And so my self-diagnosed OCD is helpful as far as just being able to streamline my life and ensure that all of the needs are being met. Now, there are some loose ends that sometimes I miss, but the biggest issue for me has been really keeping a consistent band together, and that's actually administrative as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, just kind of trying to figure out how to deal with scheduling, deal with rotations in and out. It's a lot, but I've made it through. And the other thing that really that I get to look forward to is just that light at the end of the tunnel, knowing that when tax season comes around, I get to write all my show clothes.
Right.
I get to write those expenses off. But no, I think that as an independent artist, you have to be a jack of all trades. And for the things that you don't know how to manage on your own, you need to ensure that you have some income to allow you to hire someone to support you. And, also ensure that everything looks professional, because I think at the end of the day, we're a business, we're representing ourselves to the public, and we want to ensure that we put out good quality content. And so even considering social media now, it's a lot of pressure to stay present on social media. And that's actually a way to maintain your fan base. So it's, you've got to feed them constantly. And so I think the music industry in itself, as an independent artist, is a lot more difficult when you add in the complexities of social media and just being regulated with that.
So Chase, like, you're kind of touching on my next question, which is, technology wise, like, what kind of applications are you using in your business as Rebel Wild, the business, right? Like, you're probably using some type of Cash App situations. Like, what are you using to technology wise or application wise, to be a little bit more specific, to help admin, to help push the whole system along?
To be honest, I think the most important thing as an artist, and when I speak on jack of all trades, is being able to have your own website. because when you have your own website, you can practically run everything through that. And then you also want to have that cohesiveness, because you know you don't want to be you don't want to have your fans bouncing around to find you. But I also keep it simple. Like, I'm a fan of simplicity, and so if I know I can't even manage one social media outlet, I'm not about to have about 3 or 4 or 5 pages. That's just not where it's at. So, but I do utilize Instagram, my website, and then Zelle and Cash App have been blessings for me as well, because it allows me to keep the records organized of who I paid, who's paying me.
Yeah.
Exactly. The bookkeeping has been everything. So those are really, like I said, once again, I keep it as simple as possible. And then Canva has been awesome. Canva is an awesome site for making your flyers, because those flyers come out super golden. And then you got to utilize your people, like,
nice.
you know, your family members, because I'm like, you know, I have to go around and say, okay, you're not doing anything, so you can go ahead and sell these tickets, or, you know, get mom, I need you to get off the phone and make this post for me, or I need you to log into such and such. Now
Rhonda.
you'll get the complaints.
Right.
Everybody said, hey, Rhonda. Yeah, she's sitting right next to me too. She actually helped me set up Zoom. So you see, you got to use your people around you for free. So those are some different mechanisms.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Sorry, man. Man, wow. Sharice, applications, technology, like what are you using bookkeeping wise? Maybe management, you know, kind of like the CRM type stuff, you know? Like what do you use as far as to make this independent artist thing float?
Yeah, I mean, I think the cool thing is, so, you know, CD Baby is still real and it's still working for a girl, you know, and as a digital distribution piece for the music. I mean, I'm still getting downloads and folks still like the music is old as hell, but they love it. And I'm excited about that. That's what's up. But also like PayPal, you know, now I have a different kind of financial economic infrastructure. So I can, you know, it's not what it used to be 20 years ago, you know, and I was working temp jobs and, you know, just glad to get in where I fit in. But, you know, now I have the resources to have my website up now, just like Chase was saying, it's very important. Definitely Facebook. Just being, you know, using that as a tool, you know, to communicate with folks so that folks know what's going on. I mean, like the last show I did for my birthday last month, you know, just on the strength of Facebook, regardless of however folks was following me, right? That was still the thing, right? I was still able to get that video was able to go wide, just because, you know, that was a medium that folks are on. Instagram Live, you know, those types of things. And then of course, on the business side, QuickBooks, you know, and, you know, just using that, having a really good accountant. Just shout out to the good accountants.
That's right.
Help you, you know, not get your head fully banged on 1099s, you know, those types of things. So, you know, filing your taxes like you're supposed to, those types of things, you know, it's really important to do that as well. But, and now, you know, like I said, having a budget, I can have somebody like put the flyer together for me. But one of the things I think that's really important that people don't spend enough money on is their pictures, right? So for me, it was less about, and I really kind of gleaned this off of a sister comrade that I love in the music scene, Yazara. What I love about Yazara is going to keep fresh pictures going at all times. And so I was like, right, because even if your flyer is halfway trash, if your picture is fly, all they need to, and then you give them the information, you know what I mean? So Yazara, you know, I definitely got that from her. And so I spend a considerable amount of money on headshots and those types. I mean, it's time for me to do it again, you know, so like at least twice a year, I'm taking new shots, because I know that those pictures are going across the country for various things, not just my music stuff, and just making sure that I keep it fresh, so people can, and just up to date. I don't look like I looked 5 years ago. I don't look how I looked 10 years ago. There was a time I cut all my locks off once in like 2009.
Good point.
You know what I mean? I don't look like that anymore. You know what I'm saying? So you need to be able to see the now, Cherise. So
So Opal, same question. I mean, admin stuff. How's the business? Like, how does it? What are the wheels like to that technology and application wise and all that kind of great stuff?
I mean, I would have to just agree with what all the ladies have said. Like Chase said, I love Canva. Canva is the will of God. I mean, it even formats your stuff. You need it for Instagram, it'll format it to fit it. You need it for Facebook, it'll format it to fit it. Also, iMovies is really, really good. You can take a quick reel and edit it and get the length you want and put music under it and then throw it in Canva and put some text on top of it. So I would have to agree with using simple applications that you can get either off your Google whatever or your
Google Play or App
Google
Store.
Play or your
Whatever.
App Store.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as complicated as it used to be. Also, investment in
Right.
Also, yeah, for sure. Also investing in like Cherie said, your pictures. And for those who just, first of all, relationships are so important. I have so many people that if I just ask them, like, I just need some pictures, they just want to take my picture to add to their portfolio, as do a lot of photographers. So you can get so much done by just building up relationships without having to super expense yourself out. For sure, on the executive side or the super administrative side, to have an accountant is to keep your business afloat. Taxes, IRS, these things are very real. And while you can get away with so much for so many years, that thing will come around like a boomerang and pop you dead in the forehead. So it is so important to keep up with your finances and knowing what's going on with you economically in your business. I have been just grateful for certain things, just not even knowing to do, but somebody said, make sure you file this. I was like, what? And then I'm writing it down. Somebody told me to file a SR23211. I don't even know what it is, but come to find out, this is the reason why I'm okay now, and so keeping your finances in line, knowing who you pay, and it doesn't have, even if you don't have an accountant, most banks offer little programs right in your app where you know who you paid. If you Zelle, if you Venmo, they keep the record for you. One year I did all of my 1099s for all of my employees simply by going back and looking at my Cash App, simply by going back and looking at my Zelle. I knew everybody I paid, and when I Zelled them, I put a memo on it so I know what gig it's for. I was able to quickly add up and send to my accountant, this person made this much this year just by going through my Zelle or my Cash App. So there are a whole bunch of tricks of the trade. Most of the women covered them. But I would say finding your system of organization is key. There's not one way structure. There's no one application for everything. You have to find your system, your momentum. I heard Chase say, I think she said she was dealing with her OCD. I don't have OCD. I have, what is my son? ADHD. I have that. I'm talking about,
you're all over the place.
I'm everywhere. And like Tiabe said, if I don't write it down, honey, like when you're talking to me, Opal, did you write it down? Okay. As long as you wrote it down, because if I don't write it down, I won't have it. But that I've learned that is what I need to keep organized. Updating your social media is so important. And it's really, for the longest, I was trying to get people to do it for me. And what I just realized is, Opal, you have to take your day and organize it. So when I get up in the morning, I take a moment and look at myself. I can't stand social media. I can't stand it. I wasn't raised with television, you see. So I started watching TV at 16. First thing I seen was Good Times. That's a whole nother show right there.
That's like, my favorite show. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the first thing I seen on TV. So I was like, my God, we have not progressed on television. But here's my point. I'm not big on screens and televisions and phones. And so social media to me is like, well, what is this? But what I've learned is it is a must. So take a moment in your day. Now I have learned If you don't see me posting, it is deliberate because I've learned the flow of my social media. I will starve them out, and by the time I post something in 30 minutes, I got 80 likes because you ain't seen nothing. But there's a peak to it. You can't wait too long, but you can't give it to them too often. So it's just learning.
Can't be too frequent.
It can't be too infrequent, but you don't want to be too frequent. So just learning your audience, learning what they need, and then learning you. You are everything. You are the brand. So you have to understand also who you are.
Good point. Yeah. Absolutely.
Get up in the morning, I look at my social media, and also balancing what it is I'm giving. Like, I have a big thing with not over sexualizing my page. I see a lot of pages, in my opinion, that are just so sexualized. Everything is, you don't even take a picture face in front anymore. It's always a booty shot. So I have to find a balance of what kind of content do I want to get. I mean, all these things have to be thought out. But if you take the moment and figure it out, when it comes to the application, it's like water. It just becomes, it's a flow. If you take time to figure out as an individual, how do I need to brand myself? When do I need to do this? I cannot do social media at 2:00. I may capture a moment at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But then tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'll pull back to that. So, I mean, it's a combination of what all the ladies have said, that helps you apply better habits to brand yourself, to market yourself, and to keep yourself in order business-wise, as far as your taxes, your insurances, and things of that nature.
Sure. Can I add one more thing to that?
Please do.
That we haven't mentioned? Contracts.
Honey, that's understood.
Okay, and that was even back in the day when the girl didn't have a budget.
No, but you had contracts.
Okay, because I believe in a contract, because that was the difference between being played and being paid. That was the difference between, and even if I didn't necessarily have a contract between my musicians, I had a contract with the venue. I had you know what I'm saying? I almost lost out on a really important gig where I got a chance to open for El DeBarge one time. But I had a contract, so I couldn't get played, and I was able to open. But at the last minute, the promoter was like, and so, I think we go, no, my brother, because you know why? It's my contract.
Bam.
So you can pay me, and I don't have to be here. Or
but you're going to pay me.
You're going to pay me, regardless,
Right.
And so that's the thing. I think so many people, and, once upon a time, I was trying to have like a musicians, independent union at one point. I was like, we got to do this, but see, I'm a paralegal in my former life. And so I was like, we got to have some contracts, man. You got to make sure people understand. It's very spelled out what you need. You need your deposits, and you're going to get paid when you get to the venue, or you don't have to sing, or you have to perform. That was the difference between waiting, because one of my pet peeves is I do a gig for you and I'm on time, and I got to wait for you to count your bar to pay me. I ain't got time for all that.
Right.
And so then me being with you just turning from 2 hours to turning to 5 hours of my time and my musician's time and my background singer's time, because you trying to count dollars from the bar. I ain't got time. Why don't you have my money? Because I got your product. I brought you a performance.
Right.
So that's the last thing. I just want to lift that up.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I think we could probably delve in that a little bit. We had a webinar a couple weeks ago with an IP attorney on, and we kind of floated over contracts a little bit. How important or not that they were. I think that's major. That you even bring that up, and I'm gonna jump into that a little bit later too as well. I don't know. Do you have any other applications or technology, TIB, that you use, while adminning through the through the world of entertainment?
Not so much as apps, but I would say this year, as far as a business piece, establishing a LLC, as far as a business.
Right. Good.
If you do a stamp, a lot of business, a lot of shows, a lot of revenue coming in, potential revenue at least. Phone fell. At least consider doing that, getting the business end of things done. But the ladies have mentioned all the apps and everything, so there's nothing for me to add to that.
Well, I will add, actually,
I use Excel for a lot of my
Interesting.
bookkeeping. Yeah, because that way I can actually, the totals auto populate because I did take an Excel class, so I know how to put those formulas in. And then you also get to utilize the same format from the year before, and it's easy to save. In addition to that, you also can, create graphs and stuff like that if you want to get real fancy. So Excel is
So
definitely old reliable.
so Chase, like what kind of content are you feeding these spreadsheets?
Basically, just all of my expenses and my earnings for the year. That's it.
Okay, so you running this
So
bookkeeping.
like clothes out. So what I do is I separate it. I have, of course, like clothing and wardrobe, any office expenses, which would include the maintenance of my website.
Yeah.
I include travel. What else? Food, which I purchase a
Yep.
lot of because Byron, you're always asking me to buy food. So your expenses go on that.
Yeah, and you know what though? On real tell, I don't think a lot of people know that though. Even all the way down to, like you said, with gas and even rehearsal time, I think could even be in a spreadsheet, right? Because all these things you want to be hyper analytical about the input to your business, right? Because like everything is that, and what I mean by that is that if you're any business owner will tell you that time spent that's dollars that could be translated into dollars, and so trying to make things super efficient, trying to make things roll on according to plan, the the least amount of input to yield a higher return is every business owner, and you guys are not exempt. You ladies are not exempt from that uh, process or system as well. I'm gonna I like you. I'm gonna try some here. I like you. Do we got any questions?
Not as of right now, no.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that's good. I mean, it's not good, but it's good. It's good. Uh, that means I could keep going. I know you had some questions though to like it.
I mean, I just admire these women so much, and I just acknowledge each of you for how amazing you are. And I mean, I would say that anything that I could have asked has already been addressed. Personally, I just want to make sure by the end of the webinar that I have all of your info, because this goes out to IC Music, um, the recipients, which are a couple hundred. So I just want to make sure that we can find you after this. I have one question, which I feel like was kind of addressed in self-care and what have you, but like, where do you ladies pull like your fight from? Because when I see each of you, I see fighters, and I see creative, talented, strong fighters. Like, where do you draw from that? Like, what's your process for fighting? Like, seriously, because I just want to know that, I guess.
It's a good question.
I'll jump in. Music is healing for me. So I can tell when I've not performed in a while. I can tell when I'm not singing. If I'm not. Music has just always been like a security blanket. It's like that a cushion that you fall on if you slip and fall for me. And it's and then I think the whole thing is not wanting to leave this earth without contributing something to it has been a big deal for me. Like what's your legacy? I'm in legacy building mode, like for real now, because I'm not 25, I'm 46. Yeah. And so
you're 46.
Fine as wine, baby. Yeah. Okay. Um, and you know what I'm saying? And I just, people dying every day. People dropping dead. We've lost our very dear loved ones. My brother Terrence, our brother Kari Parker.
Damn.
So many. Our sister Tracy. Just like so many we have lost.
Yeah.
So for me, like, it's healing for me. I step back.
I think that's another good point too. Working out, like how you ladies staying healthy. I mean, because every last one of you, you too are like all of y'all are using your instrument is your body. Like how do you manage that? Like how do you keep that instrument well tuned? And I'm just throwing the
Prayer,
questions up in the air.
prayer,
Gotcha.
coffee, water, taking things in moderation. I have a regimen when I'm approaching shows. Like there are certain things that I abstain from, as far as foods the day before, the day of. I try to ensure that I get some rest, even if I can't do anything but just sit still for 20 minutes. Just the balance of staying hydrated and allowing your body to be at rest at some portion of the day on days that you have shows or gigs is vital for a singer, in my opinion, at least.
I would say for me, sleep, 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 sleep.
Wow.
I don't know how sleep deprived artists function. I can sing all day long if the night before I got good sleep. I can do anything with sleep. And also, I'm an empath. So I'm very sensitive to the energy that's around me. I'm very sensitive to my atmosphere. And so, like, even in my home is very peaceful. I done been divorced twice because I can't do the lack of peace. I can't do it. Not to put my business out there, not that I really care, but I can't, I have to have peace of mind, to be able to transform yourself to become a vessel whereby music flows through you and can genuinely touch people. You have to be clear. You can't be full of pollution. And so for me, the natural type is the spiritual type. So my mind has to be clear, but also my body. I drink tons of water because I need for my body to just clear out. I need to literally just like I need my mind to be clear, I need my body to be clear. Have you ever tried to sing and you need to boo-boo? It doesn't work, or you got indigestion and you trying to take a deep breath and push out a note. I know it sounds crazy, but it for me,
no, it doesn't. No,
it's about my mental and my physical, and it has to be aligned in order for my instrument to really function. My mind has to align with my voice, and I have to be able to push out what is in my heart. And I cannot do that if I don't have peace of mind. I cannot do that if in my body I feel ill or unhealthy or weighted down. Oftentimes before I sing, I don't eat, not because I can't eat with food on my stomach. I really can, but I want to feel light. I need to feel clear. And so for me, it's about my mental state and it's about how I feel in this shell called my body. I think it's ultimately important. And just having that, like T said, she was like, sometimes just before I sing, I need to get my feng shui together. If you can just give me a few minutes, just getting yourself in the mental space that you need. It is supremely important, but most important for me, I got to get some sleep. I have to sleep.
Wow. Yeah.
I hate to interject, but I just wanted to point out.
Chase.
I'm sorry.
Like,
I just wanted to point out for the viewers who aren't sighted that Opal behind her has a lot of plants, and I just wanted people to know that she's surrounded by these beautiful plants, and that kind of goes into the energy. I just wanted to point that out. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I wanted to piggyback on what Opal was saying and Tiave, because the importance of sleep is very integral. Because as a former jobbing band singer, I actually was working a full-time job and trying to do the jobbing band. And as a result of trying to sing through fatigue, I developed soft nodules on my vocal cords. And so, just running on fumes is not where you want to be as a singer. It's really not. But other than that, as an urban rock singer, I put a lot into the entertainment aspect. So I'm the chick that is jumping off the stage and like doing that kind of like crazy wild rocker stuff. So mind, body, and spirit is so important, because as far as the spirit is the ability and the discernment to actually take the time out to create. I'm fed by creativity. So that's my spirit. Mind, just staying educated. I'm actually currently a therapist. So always staying educated and learning about the music business, learning about people,
That's a good point.
Emotional intelligence. That kind of stuff feeds me, but it's also a form of meditation for me when I'm able to either read or people watch. And then body is important to me because, as I told you last night at our performance, Byron, I get very winded when I'm not in shape. And jumping around and dancing, you don't want to be up there saying, blah, 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 because those notes come out real wrong, right? So, even if the universe intended for them to come out beautiful, your body just won't allow it.
For sure.
So I focus on a lot of cardio and calisthenics. So my mother and I, because whatever I do, my doppelganger or my tether does what I do. So we eat right together, we go running. And then the really big thing that has helped me with my vocal endurance on stage, even when I'm dancing, is running the stairs. But also just being outside in general, it's freeing. So that's one thing that I really, really enjoy doing to open up my spirit, just enjoying, just this good energy and this good, outdoorsy, fresh air thing that, the universe has allowed us all to be able to share. So those are my things.
Miss Scott.
Yes, sir.
What vocal exercises before hitting the stage, before stepping in a booth or in someone's live room ready to commit the performance? Like what does that look like? Is that something that you do? Because obviously, right, it's like running a race. Again, we're using your body. You're using your body to translate. What type of vocal exercises do you do to warm up?
Yeah, I think over the years it has just evolved. I think that's actually a part of my self-care, is singing all the time, harmonizing with my favorite tunes. Now, of course, just on the more formal side of it, once upon a time, it was, vocalese exercises and stuff like that. Yeah. And when I've had students and doing vocal training with students, definitely those fundamentals, kind of going up the scale or whatever. But now for me, it's been like when I know I have to sing songs that may be in my break. Or if I know that I have to sing songs that are once upon a time, and I just disclaimer, I used to smoke cigarettes. Yep. And I realized how my voice changed when I stopped smoking cigarettes. And actually, the majority of the time that I was living and singing in Chicago, I was smoking cigarettes. And and doing musical theater, I couldn't believe, and folks are like, I can't believe it, you. My mama was always, how can you gonna kill your gift, and I'm like, But I think my instrument, my muscle was so strong.
Yeah.
Before I started smoking cigarettes, that, you know, it took a minute to see damage, right? But I think that so I don't, you know, this is not I'm anti-cigarettes, y'all. I'm just gonna say that. But I definitely will say that when I know I have to sing something low, and because I am an alto, because I love to sing and cover a lot of music that men do, I find myself, you know, making sure I'm singing things that are in a lower register, kind of leading up to. I don't sing the day of. I don't do a lot of singing and stuff the day of a show. You know, that's when I'm like Tiabe in that way. I'm quiet that day. You know, no caffeine that day. Those types of things. But you know, also deep breathing in the using that diaphragm, because that's that muscle that's going to sustain that note so that you don't go flat. So definitely that deep breathing. If it means I gotta walk and sing, you know, walking and singing is really good, because you kind of, you know, agitate that diaphragm so that you can hold those notes for long periods of time, stuff like that. So that's some of the things that I've done, or, you know, just you know, just drop, you know,
what does
just let
that
it just
do? What
roll
does that do
down.
right there? Like when you just did that, what does that do?
It just gives me an opportunity to, you know, to push the air and push the sound, like from my head to my toes, bring it back up, you know. I feel like I'm switching into like teacher mode, but it gives an opportunity. But it gives an opportunity, you know, for you to just kind of feel, you know, also feel and let that music, let that sound resonate in your chest a little bit. Figure out, you know, I can tell what shape my voice is in if I got too much mucus. Like, this is allergy season right now. You know, if I got too much mucus on my throat, you know, I can tell even now, you know, what's going on. I'm so glad, like, I no longer eat dairy, because that was a game changer.
Yes.
No
yes,
dairy.
Lord.
I hadn't had these type of highs in 15 years. You know, I can't believe that I can sing as high as I can now, you know, or early in the morning. I used to not even be able to like talk until 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, you know, and really get some real sound out. So I think it's just, you know, constantly working that. If you
This was when you was eating dairy.
period. Oh yeah. But definitely with eating dairy, and definitely back in the day when I was smoking cigarettes, I had to just, I was like,
cigarettes,
you know,
right,
kill yourself up in here. So, but both, but dairy will kill your vocal cords. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Pop and sugar and caffeine will kill your vocal cords. And so I had to just, you know, I'm glad I'm far more disciplined now than I used to be. But when, you know, you're young, you like, you know, I'm gonna live forever. I don't have to worry about this, and all I gotta do is drink a little tea. So I used to have a regimen, and I'm gonna give y'all my little recipe. My regimen is peppermint tea with some honey and some cayenne pepper.
Yes,
That's
Lord.
it.
And
No lemon, because lemon dry your John out, you know.
Yes, it does.
But that cayenne pepper, and then room temperature water, you know, not cold water, you know, like those types of things. So, you know, you'll see me at a gig. I'll have a thermos, I'll have my water, and I'm going back and forth between them, because if I know I got to hit something high, then I got to warm these cords up, and that you know, those types of things. So that's been a way that I've been able to kind of cheat too, you know, help me cheat a little. You know, you learn the tricks of the trade of your own voice, you know, and so and that's been a way. But definitely, you know, when I know I've got to sing, you know, I'm listening to all types of music, the things that give me joy, you know, and doing that and harmonizing, and, you know, that's kind of my process these days, you know, maybe the last 10-15 years. Now.
So Opal, you what vocal exercises?
Deep breaths, like Cherise said. I think I don't really do exercises as much as I live in a space all the time. It's the difference between dieting and a lifestyle. So I really don't. I do a barometer before I sing, just to see where my voice is, because sometimes, you know, my voice is in a mood, and so I will, you know, do a little humming, like humming always warms me up. Just hum, and then just to see where I'm at. And when I do that, I can tell, okay, when I sing this song, I'm gonna bend that note this way, so that I don't miss it, because my voice is a little bit lethargic today or whatever. But during the day, you know, I make it my business to run. I run because it makes me, you know, take deep breaths and just expand my lungs to the fullest capacity. And I run with my headphones on, and I'm usually singing. I'm usually running and, I can't get no, and I'm jogging, singing though, because it just opens me up so that by the time I go to sing, I don't necessarily have to, I don't have to do all these exercises. What I do is just calm myself down. I have to calm myself down mentally because I have a lot of energy going. And so my exercise isn't necessarily vocal, it's mental. I calm myself down. I remember I used to have this thing of eating halls, and that stuff really is not good for you. Before you sing, like Cherise said, I am big on peppermint tea.
Hall's cough drops?
Yeah, they're not, that's not good. That's not good.
You talking about the cough drops?
Right.
Absolutely. That's not good for you. It's not the way.
That's that church trick they taught you
That's
wrong.
that church, and it doesn't work. And it doesn't work. Even like she said, lemon. I do lemon. Now, I do lemon when I am just mucused up because something's going on, and I need lemon to just strip me up a little bit. But definitely tea. And if I don't have tea, I would just do warm water and just drink it.
Is it room temperature or
not
or
room temperature? Warm
it
water.
up. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
I don't drink anything but room temperature water anyway. I have no water in my refrigerator. I drink only room temperature water anyway, but just not hot water, just warm water.
Yeah.
Does wonders. But like Cherise said, cheese, milk, my God, that does a number on your vocals. It's not even good for you. I mean, not to mention what it does to your body, but just as a vocalist, these things that we take in that are dairy, they're not good for you. And there's so many things you can take to satisfy that craving without doing dairy. But for me, honestly, it's a mental thing. I have to sit down and I just take deep breaths, and I can feel and hold it, and just let my lungs go ooh, and just breathe it out, and just quietly sit and get my head together. That is my preparation before singing.
Tiabe.
I guess because I did the choir workshops and we did classical music, that muscle memory is still there for me. So I don't do a lot of vocal exercises per se on days of shows. I try to rest. I listen to a lot of music. I move around a lot. I walk a lot because of my job. But most times it's just, I don't eat any dairy. I don't eat any meat on show days. I drink a lot of water. I don't drink a lot of tea. What I usually do is a combination of pineapple juice, fresh ginger, and cayenne. And I toggle between that and room temperature water. So going to a show, I may do that. If I'm really hoarse, and typically I only get hoarse when I'm really fatigued. I guess my years of some of the stuff that I've done, I've learned how not to oversing, how not to stress my voice. If you can't hear me, then you just can't hear me.
Right.
I'm not trying to force the sound.
So you're saying, like, as far as singing over the band or singing over a crowd or like just
you gotta, as a singer, you gotta know your body. You gotta know when you're pressing too far. You gotta know what that space is, what that comfortable space is. In this range, in this register, in this genre of songs, in this room, this is my comfortable space. We've all had those shows where the sound man wasn't on point or the sound equipment wasn't on point, and you had to kind of quiet down the band and make people kind of focus in on the moment with you. Just learning how to navigate that. But it's more so for me about making sure I've gotten my rest, because I'm not the biggest person as far as exercising. My thighs jiggle, and that's okay with me at 47. And they're gonna keep on jiggling.
47. Come on here.
They're gonna keep on jiggling, and a couple other things gonna keep on jiggling, but that's all right. It spanks and it's good to me. That's what we do. No, what I'm saying, just knowing your body, whatever works for your body and whatever that routine is approaching. But for me, it's just rest, eating light on the day of the show, and just doing my best to be focused for whatever the moment is.
So you mentioned something, Tiabe, about engineers and stuff like that. In the cases, especially with young artists, I don't think a lot of times they know how to communicate to engineers or some technical operative that's on a gig, stage hands, this kind of thing. Like communication wise, what kind of advice would you give young singers, young songstress who probably for instance, like the wedge is not loud enough for them, or they can't, like it's too loud, or they're hearing the wrong thing, the wrong mixes in it, because I think a lot of times, especially from the woman's perspective, I'll put it out there like this. And it, in a male-dominated world, as far as engineers are concerned, we got some females are stepping up in the
You
game.
froze for a minute. I don't know what you said. Hello?
As far as okay, you there? You got me? We in there? Hello.
I think she might be frozen.
Yeah. I think it's Opal because you didn't freeze on my end. So, yep.
Okay. So, okay. Well, I'm gonna continue asking the question. Is anybody can jump in on this? So, communicating to an engineer, like, I'm not hearing myself.
Mm-hmm.
Sharice, what does that look like? I mean, how do you talk to these folks? Like, because this is, if it ain't right on the stage, that joke is gonna be hard to be right in front of the house.
I'm gonna tell you, this is that's where I get a little, I go a little in on that one right there, because first of all, I'm big on accompaniment. If I'm the artist, I don't need to hear the drums over me. If I'm the artist, I don't need to hear, you know what I mean? Like we in a room, there might be, 200 people can get in. Well, we don't need these drums mic like that. So it's about like the engineer, the sound engineer. This is really a love, relationship right here, because that engineer can make you or break you.
Yes, Lord.
And so that's why I love working with you. That's why I love working with Sean Wallace. That's why, I have a brother here in Memphis, my brother Rice, who loves
you was calling
the sound.
Him, you was calling him me. You was calling me
exactly, because y'all energy the same, and that's why I love him so, because I'm if your sound engineer is a hot mess, it's over with. You know what I mean? Like I can't hear the background singers. Like we don't have a blend, so that if I can't hear them and they can't hear me, they sound a hot mess, and I do too. So what are we doing? Or I'm having a bad day vocally, and so I need some reverb. I need you to give me something, type thing. So it's definitely a conversation and a dance of respect, but you still have to be stern, if you will, about what your John sounds like, because I've done gazillions of gigs with poor sound. It's the worst thing in life. It's like, somebody stabbing you in your eyeball. You know what I'm saying? It's the worst, because it'll kill the gig. I've given folks just enough because I've had poor sound. I've had hardly no sound, and at the end of the gig, I shouldn't be hoarse. If I'm hoarse, the sound engineer didn't do their job, the band didn't pay attention, and I'm pissed. That's one of the, I recently was talking to one of my guys I got, want to do a gig with, and I was like, yo, it's a drummer that don't stay in the pocket. Those types of things, the things that put too much pressure on the artist to perform is like so bad. Not having proper monitors and stuff like that, and it was when you don't have a budget for sound, you don't have a budget for good sound, right? But when what you know, one of the best gigs I ever did, and I was like, I will never, was I got a chance to sing background for Yazara, and the Roots played for her. I had never been in a situation where I could feel the music move through my body like that. I mean, when it's perfect, it moves through your body, and it is like a transcendental situation.
Yes,
You know what I'm
ma'am.
saying? You're gonna float in the air when that music is right. And if you really want to get the best out of that artist, you want to make sure their sound is right so that they can do their thing.
Yeah.
Like, and you talking
Yeah.
about tubas and trombones
Yeah.
and all kind of stuff on stage, and we weren't
Yeah.
competing with each other. We weren't fighting each other.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
and so yeah,
Wow.
it can kill the gig. It can kill the gig. So a good sound engineer is like having is just as good as having is just as important as that artist on that's on that lead mic.
Let me say this. I think also coming from an engineer standpoint, I think I've done live sound for all of you before. I think for artists, for singers to educate themselves
Absolutely.
on equipment to some knowledge, right? To some degree on technology, because two things here. The first thing is that when you, as an artist, I think one of the things you need to ask when the gig is being discussed, when it's at the point of booking, is what is the backline and
Yeah.
what is the equipment that I'm going to be singing through, because then that way if you can take that information and feed it into a person with some expertise that's not going to be there, and you're going to be subjected to a house engineer, I think it's a good time or a good plan to actually say, hey, look, this equipment, what do you think about this? And they're going to take 5-10 minutes, and they're going to say, okay, you're okay. If they got if they got access to this, then ask them for this, and that way you'll have a little bit better time and a little bit more understanding when you come to the gig, because a lot of times, a lot of these smaller venues, the independent artist is being subjected to a PA system with speakers on the sticks, but they're wanting it to sound like UIC, like the Forum, and it's not going to sound like that because they technically just don't have that ability. So I think that level of education would make sense for artists. Opal, well, let me go back to Tiabe. You on Tiabe? I think you kind of fell off. I think you're there. Maybe not.
Can you hear me now?
Maybe
Yes.
you mute.
Hey.
Okay, got you. Okay, there you go.
All right.
Yeah. So now
back to the original question.
going back to that same question. Yeah.
It's about, well, for me, it's about etiquette. It's about being gracious. Because if you come in being too much of a diva or too much of a hothead or just too full of yourself in that moment, the engineer, you can have the best sound. He could be a fan of yours, but if you come in with a effed up disposition, I got you, boo. Okay.
Yep.
You're gonna sound like garbled garbage for the whole night.
Garbled
in the band.
garbage.
Yes, garbled garbage. So it's about learning the etiquette, because most sound people have a way. Okay, is it okay to touch the mic? Is it okay to adjust the stand? A more savvy sound person will ask you, well, what kind of mic do you have a preference for? Are you a dynamic singer? What's your range? You should be able to at least voice those things to them, articulate those things to them. And not every sound guy is going to know all of the technical language, so know the layman terms for it, but find a way to communicate. Even if you as a singer don't know how to do it, maybe somebody in your band, make sure somebody in your band knows how you sound and what the mix is, and be able to kind of be that bridge between you and the sound person. But at all costs, be nice to the sound people.
Listen.
Absolutely.
Indeed. I like that. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I know another little thing is, carry a 10 or a 20 on you and lay it on the console and be like, take care of me. And I'm telling you what that does.
It works.
It's like that's gold. Next thing you know, you hearing yourself, you hearing everybody in the band clear. They're just gonna,
or at least offer him a drink.
Something,
a meal, like, hey, you hungry? You want something to drink? You good?
I feed you.
For sure. So Chase, What about yourself? Like, how do you communicate with these engineers? Or do you make me do it? I don't know. Well,
you know what? I typically go in and I ensure that my energy is open and friendly, and that I show respect to them, and that I just really acknowledge the importance of their role, because it actually helps them give you more grace when it's time to handle your music, because attitude is everything.
yeah.
And I think when you go in with a poor attitude, you will see that reflected in your music, unless they just don't know what they're doing.
Sure.
But yes, 90% of the time, Byron, I do have you translate everything for me.
Yeah.
Talk to him. Go tell him what I want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I definitely have you translate. But additionally, like I think it was Sharice mentioned earlier, just ensuring that you have the communication with your band to accompany you and play under you in the event that the sound is not being friendly to you vocally. So because you definitely don't want to strain over powerful instruments at all.
Absolutely. Oh, what you
You
looking
know,
like? Yeah.
I think there's a couple different responsibilities. I think that as an artist, my responsibility is to have the appropriate pedagogy for my band. They know how I speak and what I need. So let's say we discover that the sound is janky, I should be able to almost look at my band and tell them, okay, y'all see what we're dealing with, let's break it down or whatever. But I think there is also responsibility of the vocalist to have a basic language for an engineer, like FX. Do you like a certain amount of effects? You need some reverb. Know the language of just the basic. You don't have to get super technical. No sound engineer is expecting for you to come in and know his job. He wants to give you the best sound because that's what makes him, competent in his field. So if you know, okay, highs, mids, and lows and effects, that's the basic language right there. Can I get some reverb? Can you give me a little bit more mid? Can you turn my highs down some according to your voice? So just taking a moment one day, even at the beginning of the gig, and saying, hey, can we just do some talk tests with me and tell me after you finish EQing you and you love it, if you ever do a gig and you love the sound, go to that engineer and say, hey, what did you give me? Yeah, you got this kind of voice. I gave you lots of mids. I turned down your bottoms a little bit, but I gave you lots of high. Whatever the dynamic was, go. If that gig was perfect and it sounded good, take a moment with $10 and a cocktail and ask the engineer, hey, what did you do? Because man, that was perfect. No one's going to turn down your compliments. It's not going to happen. So just taking that moment to say, hey, this really sounded amazing. Can you tell me what you did? It will then equip you with the language for the next engineer. And attitude is prime. Yeah. When I go in, I introduce myself. Yep. Hey, what's going on? You the engineer? Man, it's so nice to meet you. I'm super excited. Let me know what you need from me to help you out. I know that we probably haven't worked together or blah, 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 blah. And when you see that one engineer that you know is the worst, because that happens too. You come in like, dang, this dude, Jesus, it's going to be one of them. Go in with a good attitude. Yeah. Give your band the proper language. And still go to that engineer and say, hey, it's so good to see you. Can we let's do a quick sound check and try to get the optimal out of him by finessing him, especially as ladies. We can finesse men in the most beautiful ways. But I will also say this. I have learned for the saving of my voice, I have gotten the equipment I need to live. I have my whole receiver, my fanny pack, and my ear molds. And I take it with me. Hey, can you plug this up? 9 times out of 10, they can. And if they can, here. And you got your cable for this? Absolutely. Okay, let's test your in-ears. Most definitely. And you can jack it all up. I can hear me and I can hear my band, because once you have the equipment that enables you to perform, then you could still float through the roughest of gigs, because the key for me in performing is the ability to hear. That's the whole frustration as an artist. You can't hear yourself. You're singing flat. Everything is loud. It's not EQ'd right. The monitor ain't loud enough. You hearing yourself through the front of house instead of through your monitor. All these things is what disrupts your ability to just effortlessly sing. because we all know when that sound is in that sweet spot, honey, you could sing for 17 hours.
Yeah.
Because it's the music is in that spot. The sound is perfect. You know, the drums are perfect. You can hear the guitar. And also knowing you're a musician. You know your bass player is always too loud. Tell him at the beginning of the gig, turn it down.
Turn it down.
Turn it down. Or your guitar player, he wah 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 through the whole song. Just hey bro, how you doing good? I got drinks on everybody. Hey, turn down right now. What you on? Knock it down the floor. Knock it down the floor.
Run that.
Knock it down the floor. Because by the time you done, he gonna be on 8. You already know.
Anyway.
So what do you like criteria when choosing musicians? Like how are you choosing musicians like to work with? Like what are some of the criteria that make say, okay, yeah, I am definitely gonna choose this cat?
Attentiveness.
Tone and attitude.
Yeah, attentiveness, attitude, and professionalism. You know, I'm used to working with orchestras as well as bands. So, you know, sometimes with my gigs, I got 13, 14 pieces. Right. I just need you to be a team player, and I need you to come in with a professional attitude. So in the door, it's your attitude. You know, I met one violinist. It was a guy. He was fine too. He was very good looking. And he could play that violin. But when I tell you, this brother was so cocky off the charts. You know, he wouldn't even let me speak. I'm like, okay, so what we trying to do on this? I'm handing out charts to everybody. Here's your charts. This song is heavy strings. So I already know this song. So if you want me to, I'll just take the lead.
Accompaniment. Amen.
Listen, accompaniment. And then when I said, well, you know, just long as you follow the chart, we can just all move forward because it ain't really no lead. You the strings section. You feel what I'm saying? So just, you know, just run with the chart. Okay, so I start talking again. And oh yeah, because on the 63rd bar, we all got the chart, Reverend. I mean, we see what
Reverend.
You're fired. I can't do it. So attitude. It's just like everybody was saying with the sound guy, attitude. You know, come in there with a good attitude. So my first prerequisite for a musician, your talent will get you there, but your attitude is what keeps you there. Yeah. So I need your attitude to be in the place of not follow what I say and don't say nothing, because that ain't the right attitude either. But it is about team. I've heard so many bands that sound like a bunch of musicians. And then I've heard a bunch of musicians who sound like a band. And the difference is the cohesiveness, the ability to back down. This one is doing a solo. Why? If you the bass player, but the solo's for the piano, why you thumping all through his solo? Bring it in. It is an attitude of respect, about teamwork, about understanding that we are a band, so we are as weak as the one musician that does not know how to just cup himself inside. You know, it's about professionalism and teamwork. That's the prerequisite for me. Now you got to be talented. Let's not abandon the skill set. Right. But I can take someone who is just a strict chart reader, but can't do a lot of embellishment. But he's a professional, he's on time, he's in it for the team, than someone who can play like crazy, but somebody told you one too many times, so now you just won't shut up and do your part.
Right.
You know, that for me, that's everything. And I'm telling you, when you start getting into bands where the sizes, I go up to a 22 piece. When you start getting past, you know, a rhythm section and 2 horns, that's a lot more containable. But when you start getting, you know, 4 horns, 4 violins, a rhythm section, 4 vocalists. Oh, and we're going to add a percussionist, because now we just filling in pieces, because we said we were going to bring, you know, 13 pieces. So now we just adding. You play the tambourine. That's your role today. When you get all those people together, and then you have little cancer spots because this one is trying to prove something, or this one needs to be seen, or this is finally this one person's platform for the year. You know, it messes up the harmony of what a band should sound like. And so it becomes vitally important that everybody has the same, it's like what happened in the upper room, right? They all got on one accord. That's when the spirit fell. So when you got a band, you need everybody to be on one accord so that the spirit can fall and people are actually touched by the time you're finished.
Absolutely. So Chase, what about you? How criteria with the musicians? What's making you pick the musicians that you pick?
So for me, it's energy and values. Values because with the name Rebel Wild, we have some things that we stand for, and what we stand for is social justice, revolution, Black empowerment. So there was a time when we had a musician come, and we thought that he was the one. Like, okay, we're good now. You know, when we were building the band in the beginning, but we didn't have the same values. And at that point, it's like, I don't care how great you are. If we don't have the same message, if we don't speak the same tone, then I can, you know, we both can move around. We can go our separate ways. And the other thing is consistency, because, you know, you have a lot of people who are out here, they about their money, and I'm all for it. And the thing is, sometimes to build the cohesiveness, you have to be at a point where you guys are able to hang out outside of music or build with each other outside of music, because it's that those connections that really forge genuine bonds. But it's very like sincere, genuine, and the people around like can feel each other. So we can feel each other off stage, we can feel each other on stage. That's very important. And there was one more thing that I wanted to add. The other thing is, honestly, once again, as a therapist, mental health is key, because
oh my God.
Yeah, because you know, sometimes when there are people who are struggling with their own demons in the band, that energy contaminates everybody on and off stage. So ensuring that a person's mental health needs are met, even when you find out, you know, after the fact, I think it's important, because once again, you're there to do a business, but you're also there to touch people in a way that they may need it. And in order to capture that, it is very, very important for everybody to have a synergy and a sense of peace.
Yes, yeah. So removing the toxins, you know,
Absolutely.
From the recipe.
That's good.
Tiabe, choosing, you know, the criteria. I mean, you choosing musicians for whether it's sessions or live gigs.
For live gigs, it's about talent first. It's about your attitude, you know, your ability to come in and just fit in. You know, I believe I'm fairly easy to work with, but learn your damn music.
Man.
You know, if I give you, I give you
that's true.
No, you know, I hope I didn't offend anybody with that word, but if
Only
I
the
send
ones that don't know their music.
You gotta know that music.
I send you this music 2 weeks ago, and I check in with you because I have a good habit of checking in with my guys. Like, hey, you know, are there any songs you had a problem with, you're struggling with, blah, blah, blah. You know, for the ladies that do certain type of gigs, you have what you call the money songs. This person has made the special request. This is a song that we must do. I'll make a note. Hey, make sure you learn this song. The dude that doesn't learn his song, doesn't know the song, struggling through the song. I know you just listened to it on the car ride here. I can tell, buddy.
Yes.
You know, the guy or the lady who learns the music, the one who's consistent, I can depend on you to be on time. I can depend on you to be prepared. I can depend on you, you know, to enjoy the ambiance of what happens, because there's always shenanigans and craziness going in the audience, and I need a guy who can stay focused. You know, the girl with the big booty coming in the room, I need you to still thump them strings and hit on the keyboard and still tap that drum when this show is going on, just because you see somebody pretty, or your ex came in the room, or you know, somebody you got a beef with in the street. I need someone who can maintain their focus on stage.
Yeah,
and that's important.
Right.
That's important, because things are always happening.
Professional.
Yeah,
fellas.
it's about
Ladies
talent. It's about tone. It's about attitude. It's about, hey, can we build those moments? What I love doing on stage is when you break down or the synergy is really happening and you just take one piece of a song and you add some other elements in it and everybody's right there and I call that we're gonna make some magic. Yeah. That's what those moments are. I need you to come on in the room with me. I need you to come on the journey. I need you to come on, grab a hand, grab a friend. We're gonna go down here. I need the people that trust themselves and trust me enough to go with me. And we still sound good. We don't sound like just noise.
Indeed.
So
indeed.
That's what's important.
Indeed. Sharice, I mean, what, criteria?
Yeah, I think one of my biggest things is a band who can follow me. Because again, I'm a kind of conduct as I go. I'm not a big stickler about we got to learn the show before the show, because the performance space is really part of my worship. It's really part of like my thing is, if you learned your material, we're going to run the top, the bottom. We're going to run any type of changes in our rehearsal. And then we just going to let God have his way. You know what I'm saying? Because this song might've just been a straightforward soul joint and I'm gonna flip it at the end and it's gonna be salsa at the end, or, I need you to, to go with me and we're gonna do a swing. We're gonna swing it. You just got to follow me. And so then it's really important to have folks who understand their role, and I've learned over the years, because I'm a jazz soul fusion type of singer, it's not always in my best advantage to have a saxophone player because I'm singing saxophone. Right. It's not always necessarily my thing to have, depending on if I got a trumpet, I'm singing like the way I run, I'm an instrument. So I feel like we're all instruments actually. And so let's all play a role. So it's like, having somebody who can follow, that's the worst thing in life, a drummer that can't keep tempo, or you trying to solo and I'm singing. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait. I promise I'm gonna give you some shine. Let's give folks an experience. I'm about creating an experience versus trying to give folks a show. Now, I know like some of my artist colleagues are far more disciplined in that way. But for me, and maybe that's the freedom of being an independent artist and not having to, I know I got a 2-hour window. We may get through all 12 of these songs. We might do 10 of them because I just extended one for 7 minutes. Who knows? The goal is, can you follow? And in your fellowship, you leading.
Exactly.
Like that's so important to me. And also having, a really dope MD. Somebody who I don't want to have to, because I'm gonna give you a whole month in advance of the music. And so it's one of the biggest pet peeves I have, because I feel like if I had to learn it, why don't you have to learn it? And then, there was an artist down here in Memphis who helped to train me in ways. He's deceased now, gospel artist. His name is Orlando Draper. And Orlando we went to the same high school, and when he graduated, he came back even as an artist and helped us do our thing. And one of the things that Orlando used to always say, and I've kept it to this moment, play them people's stuff like they did their stuff. Don't be coming up in here trying to do your rendition of Stevie Wonder's whatever. It's Stevie. Play the song. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Do the tune. Respect people's music enough to learn it. Right. Respect, and you'll be able to do your thing on it. So that, that's one of my things about, so I'm a kind of, I think I got a little old. I'm an old fogey at this moment about, I just don't have a lot of patience for that. I also don't like I'm in a, an area that I would say is a lot of like kind of cabaret, so you're going to get a lot of covers, and you might get like similar covers a lot from different, folks,
kind of what
different artists, kind of more of a kind of cabaret type of city where you got artists who are doing a lot of cover tunes. Right. I like to throw something else in there. I want to do something else. I'm gonna pull some Omar out there. And I know, you didn't learn it. See, you didn't learn it. Nope. We're not doing Frankie Beverly and Maze, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I want to push. I think, one of the first tunes around here, and now more artists I see are singing it, with the Gretchen Parlato, Robert Glasser's version of Weak. I was like, we're going to learn this, y'all, because I can't sing the same stuff all the time. It's boring.
Yeah.
Right? To me. It's super boring to sing the same thing over and over again. So I like being able to switch it up. And then that lets me know, if you, if you cared enough, if you honored the gig enough, because it's honor to me. This is a gift. You're supposed to honor your craft. Did you honor the music enough to learn it? Did you honor the musicians, the way that the song goes enough to figure out how it's supposed to go? And did you just write your charts out, whatever you got to do? Or if it's my own original music, I got my charts. Here you go. And it's for whomever. It ain't, it might not be on a staff. It's just gonna be, the cluster of notes so that you know what you got to do, type thing. So so that's my process. For sure.
No, it's good. Now, all valid points, very sound points. Like you, where we are with the time before I go with the next question, because I got them lined up. I got like 35 of them. And we have any questions?
What? I have time. We're 11 after the hour. So that would be 12:11 Chicago time. 1:11.
Okay.
And then we had comments from Dominique Stansberry, who was tuning in, and also from Renee Bradford, who was just like honoring everything the ladies were saying, and but no questions as of yet.
Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, we're gonna come to an end then, right? Because I mean, I felt like we was close to. I thought we was like more on the shy side of 2 hours. I didn't know we was on the more advanced side of it. So. Yeah. Okay. So, man, I'm telling you, I knew this was gonna be a series, right? Like, so I mean, you obviously can see what needs to go down here. Sharice Scott, Tiabe, Lauren Chase, and Miss Opal Staples. Opal. Let me start here. Chase. Give me something to go on. Give me something to ride on. Just give me something to ride on, because I know we got to get out of here. But I'm curious to know what you got going on, social media, and anything for up and coming artists that do what you do.
So first and foremost, the band is called Rebel Wild, and that's spelled REB as in boy, EL, WYLD.
WYLD. Yeah.
Yes. And you can find us on Instagram at rebel.wild. And then we have a website, rebelwild.com. So those are the places that you can find us. I think we're also on YouTube as well under Rebel Wild. But like I was saying, we streamline everything. So just go to the website and explore, and you'll find everything you need. But what I would like to offer to up and coming artists is just to hang in there, because music, this thing doesn't come overnight. People don't really know the hard work that goes into it. And also like the depression and anxiety that goes along with really working your butt off and not feeling acknowledged. Because I think the big thing about what we do is we like to receive acknowledgement and affirmation, because that pushes us forward and that gives us the drive to know that our gifts and our talents are worthwhile and it's touching someone. So that's a big deal. And the other thing is just really ensuring that you pay attention to your self-care and your mental health. And like they say, I really hate to use pimp terms, but play the game, don't let the game play you.
Tiabe, last word.
Yeah, also hold on. Last thing. Okay. Know your worth, because when I was coming up, I was doing background gigs for like 3-4 hours for zero pay or $50. Know your worth and set your price, because you when you allow other people to set a price for you, then you'll keep that mentality. So know your worth, set your price, and be empowered. Okay, that's it.
Well, I'm gonna jump in there too, because I think I want to add a little bit of clarity to that. That doesn't mean, right? Make sure that I understand. That doesn't mean don't take any free gigs or anything like that, because if you know your worth, then you know what you need to get up out that gig or that particular situation in order for it to be a stepping stone to the next thing. just
Yes,
because it
get
might
your
not
name.
meet a financial criteria. It could meet a marketing or some type of
Relational.
partnership
Right.
that may need
Hmm.
to happen, right? So
Right.
so I want those young artists to realize that.
Well, be
Uh,
selective though, Byron, because the thing
Absolutely,
is everybody,
absolutely.
somebody's always going to be out there telling you that they're going to do something for you in return, or it's going to be a reciprocal relationship or a bartered
Woo.
relationship. And you have to know that everything's not 50-50 all the time. And, you don't want to get your feelings
This is
hurt
true.
in the
This is
interim.
true.
But yes, you do have to pay your dues. And once you pay your dues, then that's how you're able to establish your value.
For sure, for sure. Thank you, dear. Thank you, thank you.
Absolutely.
Tiabe.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, girl, please. This is home. This is home. Tiabe. Last
Okay.
words. Social media, gigs. What you got?
I am the crazy lady on Facebook, TIAYBE Bloodso. They shut down my other page, but that's another story. On
Oh,
Instagram and Twitter as Ms. MIZTiabe.com. I'm also on SoundCloud. I haven't checked my Reverb Nation in years. My project is still available on cdbaby.com as well as itunes.com. As far as upcoming stuff, I am going to put it out there. I need assistance in building my website.
mm,
I need some technical help as far as fueling just certain mechanics of the social image, but branding yourself, the navigating smartly social media is important in today's world. Knowing your body, knowing your gift, knowing how you sound, even if you're starting out, even if you're evolving, even if you're not certain what path you want to take your gift, just being committed to learning your voice. Um,
mm.
as far as other things going forward, I'm actually going to start recording this year. I'm actually pushing myself to get out of my comfort zone and to get out of my head and just say, you know what, I'm going to release this music. And if only 10 people buy this damn thing, then that's what it is. Me and them 10 people, we're going to rock this and we're going to move this thing around. So just forging through uh, whatever, anxiety, whatever
Mm-hmm.
potential
Mm-hmm.
rejection, just keep going. If they're baby steps, if they're big steps, if you're jogging, if it's a slow crawl, keep going in the music industry, whatever that may look like for you.
Yeah, because you can't make it if you ain't doing it, right?
No, and learn the importance of relationship and friendships. I've been in this, like Sharice, over 20 years, and some of the people that I met 20 years ago, 15 years ago, those relationships are actually now starting to bear fruit. So it's not an overnight. It is music business is not for the weak. It's definitely you need a team of people around you, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's your musicians, who really are there for not only just to share your gift, but your heart.
Mm.
And they're genuinely concerned about you as a human being, not just the money that you put in their pocket. So that's good to have those type of people around you.
Sharice Scott. Thank you,
Yes.
Miss Tiabe.
You're welcome.
Definitely can. And I put it in the chat as well. You guys can follow me at ShariceScott.com. Also on Facebook at Sharice Scott, either my artist page or just my regular personal page. Um, Also, Memphis Soul Music Festival, which is my festival for the organization that I run, and we will be
Yes.
coming back at you next year. Definitely just to keep up with what's going on. Also, um, just look out for next month. I'll be doing another virtual concert on my Sharice Scott page,
Mm.
and you can definitely listen to my music on all digital platforms, and you can download it, on iTunes or any um, I guess digital for profit streams. But you can get me on Tidal, you can get me on Spotify, Pandora, you name it, it's out there. And that's really a dope thing that CD Baby provides if your music is there. And, so my kind of takeaways are, don't stop, just do your thing. This is your gift. And I think I'm speaking to myself as I'm saying it,
Yes.
Don't despise not the day of small beginnings.
Come on.
Make sure that that little becomes much over time.
Yes.
And I absolutely echo Tiabe that some of the folks who began with us 20 years ago are just now getting on in a very real, dynamic way. Especially artists that we are kindred with in the Shy. Just seeing folks soar, right? And so it's just been really even Opal, just seeing everybody soar. Last time I was in Chicago, I was able to Tiabe, and we stepped in, we fell in on my guy, was it Marquell Jordan set. And it was just fly just to see. I could see your growth, as well. So it was just dope to see everybody grow and people do their thing. And right. And just keep trying, keep writing, don't stop writing, be gentle with yourself when you have those blocks. I've had those, I've been in one of those, and you got this. Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate you, Stick.
Man, appreciate you, sister. Opal Staples. Last words. What you got coming up? What's the social media? All the rules. And also, obviously, to let those know who are coming up behind you, ladies.
Yes, sir. I have a gig tomorrow at 14 Parish between 7 and 9 p.m. on the outside patio in Hyde Park. I'll be singing and just, making merry. You can find my music on iTunes, CD Baby, Spotify. My website is opalstaples.com. My social media is Instagram, Opal Staples. Facebook, I have 3. I have Opal Staples, which is a personal page. I also have Opal Music, and I have Opal Staples Orchestra. Depending on what your need is, you can go to any 3 of those. And then, of course, I'm on Twitter. As far as what I would leave to all those who are blazing in my trail is, first, always remember that you may be blazing my trail right now, but there's someone behind you. So be careful what you do and say to people, because you will revisit them again, and karma is real. I will also say that keep in mind business. We are all here to release our passions into the world, but this is a business. And while you must pay your dues, and every gig does not have to be paid, there's a beautiful scripture that I love in the Bible. And it basically says that food bringeth laughter, wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things. So be very clear that you're not in it just for the money, but this is a business whereby you allow yourself to make a living. So don't be gangster or shysterish, but be a business-minded individual. Also, I like to always tell every artist that I meet, have your mission statement in mind, not to always proclaim to people, but rather to remind you about why you're here. Mine is because of my religious background and how I have found music moves me and how it moves other people. My mission statement has always been causing vibrations under your feet and moving worlds above your head. That's my goal when I sing. I want you to feel the vibration of the earth moving under your feet, but I want you also to feel worlds above your head that you can't even see swirling around you. That's my goal when I sing. So have a mission statement when you sing to people. And also, finally, don't hate on what you see that you actually admire. Jealousy is a misplaced admiration. When you see something that you like, that someone is doing well, as opposed to hating it, humble yourself, sit at their feet and ask questions. Don't make statements, ask questions. How do I love what you've done. How can I do that? A place of humbleness and humility is where you find the richness of life. The beauty of a garden is found not on a hillside, but in a valley. Sit down and learn from people, especially when you see things about them that you actually admire. Don't resent them for having it and you don't. Acquire the knowledge that allowed them to have it. And those are to me, those are the keys that will allow you to be successful. I am successful not because I'm the greatest singer in the world. I am successful because I have learned to sit at the feet of women like Sharice, like Tiabe. I've learned to listen to women like Chase, and as opposed to be jealous of them or have resentment, I've learned to listen to the wisdom and the pearls that they're offering to me. I've learned to take the time to string them up on that little bitty thread, put it around my neck, and it has become a crown whereby I'm able to stand in the same circle with them. If you can humble yourself and apply the things that you've learned from other people, you will be great at what you do.
Ooh. Yeah. So, man. So, so this webinar really spawned out of a conversation with Sharice and myself. And really what I wanted to make happen here is I wanted to provide, some of the younger coming up young ladies that are doing this thing independently. This is and I Opal, I know Tiabe, I know that you two are gigging, I mean a barrel load, right? I know
I don't
Sharice.
know. I need to get up with Tiabe. She got training on and whatnot. Can I?
I got to get with you. I got to get with you, ma'am. I got to get with you.
I know Sharice and Chase. You guys are gigging too. You ladies are gigging too. A lot of production stuff, more so. And I think for those perspectives, it's possible to really do this, like really at a real professional level, and not have a record contract, not have corporate banging down your door. This is a thing, and I really love the approach of, hey, LLC. I love that formation talk. I love the bookkeeping talk. I love the fact that the approach is professionalism. Caring about the operatives in the room, caring about the people who you are singing to. I mean, all of these things matter, the demographic, right? Because at the end of the day, you are a service-based business. I think that this business is one that is very unique in a sense that it is one of the only businesses that creativity and passion can meet up and actually you make a living off of it. I'm not saying it's the unique one that does that, but I am saying it is one of them. And in that, bringing a lot of yourself to the table is gonna require a ton of energy that is going to be a lot easier to disseminate than something that when you're dealing with a very lackluster situation. But I already knew that this would end a little bit overtime on a Saturday. But I think that my main thing is that I also felt like that this was going to be probably a more series based type thing. I just can't. It's hard to let it go, but I'm gonna have to let it go. Thank you, ladies. I love all four of y'all. Y'all already know.
Thank you.
We
Oh
love
my
you back,
God.
Thank you so
Byron.
much. Love
Most
you.
definitely.
This. I don't. I'm like, man. I'm like, don't end it. Don't end it, like it.
I know.
Well, the streets is calling me. No.
Right.
Thank you,
Amber
Chewy
was
Likey.
calling me.
I love y'all. Thank you for your
man.
valuable time.
Thank you, Likey.
I love you.
Love you, sis.
And thank you, fellow queens, Tiabe, Chase, Sharice. I love your work. I love who you are. I love the words of wisdom. It's so beautiful to sit and listen to women who all are like-minded and are not in the spirit of competition or anything, but just really sharing the wisdom that we've learned down through the years. It's a blessing to sit at the table with you all.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. On that
y'all
note,
later.
y'all, God bless. Peace. Thank you.
All right. Peace.
God bless. Bye bye.
Yeah. Thank you.
Peace.